A horror movie can be technically great and still leave you feeling nothing. The best ones do both. They tell a story that actually means something, and they still make you afraid to turn the lights off. Today, we're counting down our picks for the top 10 best horror movies of 2026 so far. Let's get into it. Number 10. Lee Cronin's The Mummy. Forget the adventure. Forget the spectacle. This version of The Mummy is a body horror film about grief, and it is deeply, grotesquely unsettling. A child goes missing. Years later, something comes back. And from the moment it does, you know something is terribly wrong. The tone here is what separates this from every other version of this story. Grim, personal, and loaded with visuals that feel less like a monster movie and more like a waking nightmare. This isn't The Mummy as a popcorn villain. This is The Mummy as something ancient, rotten, and genuinely frightening. If you wanted this creature treated as pure horror, this is exactly that. Number 9. Primate. Sometimes a horror movie doesn't need to be deep. It just needs to be brutal, fast, and put something in front of you that you absolutely do not want chasing you through a jungle. Primate is a lean, mean creature feature, set on a tropical vacation that spirals into pure survival chaos. No pretension, no slow build, just savage energy, nasty momentum, and enough gore to keep a midnight crowd fully satisfied. It knows what it is. It commits to it completely. And honestly, that's exactly why it works. Number 8. Passenger. A couple witnesses a horrific accident on a dark roadside. Wrong place, wrong time. That's all it was supposed to be. But whatever they saw that night, it didn't stay at the scene. Passenger turns a roadside tragedy into a relentless supernatural chase, and it wastes absolutely zero time doing it. Every stop they make, every town they pull into, the threat is already there, closer than before. The atmosphere is suffocating. The jump scares are sharp, and that stranded, middle-of-nowhere dread never lets up from the first frame to the last. If you love road trip horror that hits the ground running and never slows down, this one's for you. Number 7. Whistle. A cursed Aztec relic. A group of high school students who had no business touching it. One sound. That's all it takes. Once the relic is triggered, Whistle turns every familiar space, hallways, locker rooms, dark corners, into a trap. The concept isn't brand new, but the way this film commits to it is what makes it work. The kills are vicious, the pacing is relentless, and the supernatural chase energy keeps the tension cranked up from start to finish. It knows exactly what it is, and it delivers on every single promise it makes. Number 6. Faces of Death. What makes this modern reimagining genuinely disturbing isn't just the violence, it's the uncertainty. A content moderator starts coming across violent videos that might be staged, might be real, or might be happening right now, in real time. And the film leans hard into that paranoia. Every new clip pulls the story into darker, more disturbing territory, blurring the line between what's performed and what's real in a way that feels uncomfortably close to the world we already live in. Faces of Death is nasty, timely, and deliberately provocative. It uses online culture and screen addiction as its horror engine, and it works in the most unsettling way possible. Number 5. Undertone. This one proves that silence can be just as terrifying as anything you can see. A paranormal podcast, hidden messages buried in audio recordings, demonic sound that starts crawling into everything. Undertone is a slow burn, but it's the kind that gets under your skin and stays there. The sound design alone is worth the watch. Every distorted whisper, every frequency shift, every moment of uncomfortable quiet feels intentional and deeply unsettling. No nonstop gore, no cheap tricks, just dread. Patient, intimate. Number 4. 28 years later, The Bone Temple. The best sequels don't just continue the story, they go somewhere darker and stranger than you expected. The Bone Temple does exactly that. The infected are still terrifying, but the film's most disturbing idea is that the people who survived might be worse. With Dr. Kelson's discovery, Spike's collision with Jimmy Crystal, and Nia DaCosta pushing this franchise into harsher, more emotionally brutal territory, this becomes something more than just a zombie movie. It's savage, it's emotional, and it earns every dark place it goes. One of the most intense entries on this entire list. Number 3, Backrooms. Few films this year understand nightmare logic like this one. A hidden opening beneath a furniture showroom leads into something that should not exist. An endless maze of yellow-lit hallways, empty rooms, and warped reality that just goes on and on with no exit in sight. The fear in Backrooms isn't about a monster hiding around the corner. It's about being completely, hopelessly lost somewhere that defies logic. The sound design is deeply wrong in the best possible way. The spaces feel more sinister the further you go, and the dread builds so gradually you don't realize how tense you are until you can't breathe. Internet liminal horror finally gets the film it deserves. Number 2, Hokum. A remote Irish inn, a haunted honeymoon suite, a horror novelist who should absolutely know better than to stay, and a witch legend that the locals clearly don't like talking about. Hokum takes a near-perfect horror setup and actually delivers on it, which is rarer than it sounds. After arriving to scatter his parents' ashes, Ohm Bauman is pulled into visions, a shocking disappearance, and the darkest corners of his own past. The atmosphere is eerie and patient. The setting feels genuinely isolated and trapped, and the scares build slowly, then hit all at once. This is slow burn horror done with real craft. Number 1, Obsession. A mysterious one-wish Willow and wishes for the girl he loves to love him back, more than anything in the world. She does. And that's where the nightmare begins. Obsession starts simple and gets meaner, stranger, and more disturbing with every passing minute. What begins as a dark romantic premise twists into possessiveness, grotesque terror, and a spiral of consequences that the film refuses to let you look away from. The performances are devastating, especially Indy Navarrete, who delivers one of the most unsettling transformations you'll see in any genre this year. And director Curry Barker builds dread with a patience and control that feels like someone who's been making films for decades, not someone on their debut. It gets under your skin fast, and it does not come back out. The best horror film of 2026 so far, and it isn't particularly close.